your job in the era of COVID, how are you? Walk me through your day, your week. What do you do to get ready here?
The week stays pretty much the same.
Okay.
It's 7 days a week, and you're prepping and you're researching and you're talking to people. But when you get to the stadium on Sunday, that's where things come to a major change. You don't walk right out onto the field like we normally do, and that's where you get a lot of work done. But you can't do that. So we have this sort of green room area where we collect ourselves for a while, and then once it's time to go, get in position, I'm in this area that they call the operational zone. We call it the moat because it indeed feels like a moat. Like you can't get out.
I love it. It's like you're right outside the castle. You're
exactly. And I can't go in. And if I do try, there will be, reptiles. So we're in this moat, and it's the place where also all the NFL Films cameras are, and the majority. I think we have 1 or 2 handhelds allowed on the field, but I am not allowed on the field. So that changes. But I'll tell you something. It's been interesting having that perspective of being up a little higher than field level because you can see, as you well know, you can see a whole lot more. So there are some advantages. It's weird at halftime. You go to talk to the coaches, and I'm up in that moat, and I'm leaning over the wall, and they're trying to hear me, and I'm trying to hear them, and we're talking through masks, and everything's muffled, and you just do your best. And then post-game, usually you're down there, and you can get a sense of the player that you're going to talk to, and you can talk to more than one player, and, you really get a sense of body language. You can watch them respond to your questions, their facial expressions. There's none of that now because we're up in the moat, and there's a camera on me, and there's a camera on him, and we sort of just talk to our cameras. So that's really, I think, the biggest difference.
And you want to talk about a tough gig, Michele. I mean, again, I understand what tough gigs are in the era of COVID. I'm just talking about in the construct of covering a football game here. Coaches, if they're losing by 2 scores, they're getting their ass handed to them in the first half. And there you are trying to ask them a couple questions to get all of us at home knowledgeable. And you have to repeat yourself because you're talking through a mask. And oh my gosh, that cannot be.
It's not fun. It's probably the least fun part of the day. But, some coaches really surprise you. And they can be, like a Bruce Arians or a Mike Zimmer. They can be not having success, but come out of the locker room like it's just another Wednesday, And so it really does depend on who you're talking to. But they've all been gracious enough to participate in it, and we just do the best we can, and we can't go to – actually, Chris and Fred Godelli, our producer, and our director, Drew Escop, they do go to practice. The rest of it, we have to keep that number to a minimum. We don't have the same number of staff on the ground for the games as we usually do. So it's been really weird. And we can't go out to dinner together.
Well, with Al, too. Please.
Yeah. He likes to tell stories, and I miss that storytelling.
Yes, he likes to tell stories and not eat a single vegetable and be proud of it.
Correct. Or even have it placed near him.
He brags about never eating anything green.
I know.
He actually brags about it.
It's very weird. It's it's amazing he's still alive and healthy with no vegetation.
Right.
Even if he orders the lobster bisque at a restaurant, he'll say, make sure there's no chive or anything green in it at all.
Nothing.
It's down to the minuscule stuff.
Well, his attention to detail is legendary. There's no question about that.
True.
Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.